So my idea today is to create a network X, Pi-V's network X graph out of the data frames that I have here. I stopped, I think, at 2 million, around 2 million blocks, and I stopped just to copy these data frames into other ones, and I'm still getting more data. I think is around 3,300,000 now. And I think I'm gonna stop either today or tomorrow for a little bit, so it might take me some time. It's probably gonna take me a lot of time actually to get the whole blockchain, which I think right now is probably 16 million blocks or something like that. But yeah, I'm not sure anymore if I'm gonna be doing the rest of the other project on stream, because if it works and I can make money, then obviously if I do most of the parts on stream, it's gonna be bad, because then it's not gonna last uh, a lot of time, because people just copy what I did. So I'm thinking about whether or not I'll do that. I think I'm not gonna do the more theoretical part, let's say. I might do it the part where I'm probably gonna do it the part where I get data, even for this here. And what I'm thinking about doing after I do this is, because I don't like that much the way that the graphs are on the network X library. So I wanna see if I can find a way to display the same data but using canvas animation instead. And I was looking at some things about that, and actually drawing on the canvas is not that hard, but the hard part is gonna be to take the data from Python and put it and use that data on the canvas. And I'm still not quite sure yet what I want to do exactly with that data, but I think my curiosity, let's say, or the way that I'm envisioning, is trying to transform the blockchain data into some sort of graph or animation that shows the relationships between the different nodes of the network, how everything is connected, and yeah, display the flow of orders and money. That would be my idea. But to put in practice is gonna be hard, I think. And I'm not sure if it's possible. So the animations I was seeing is uh, you do these particles here, which is pretty much that's the way you draw on the canvas, and then you have the position and stuff like that. So I was thinking about coding some physics formulas and seeing if I can combine the data from the blockchain into some sort of physics model that would allow me to see with the canvas the animation of the particles as if it is orders or transactions on the blockchain and see the movement. But then I have to think how, because the difficult part is going to be how to actually get a accurate representation of the connection, not just uh, about the distance between nodes. I'm not sure if that's even possible to do, because it would be much better if I could capture not only the transactions and stuff like that, but the actual difference in nodes as if it is happening in real time of where the flow is going. And then maybe do some studies on that. Yeah, but that's later. Now I think I'm gonna do this drawing here. So maybe I should put the color. I'll put it black. White. Layout, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna put it. Then I'm gonna print the heads. Now, do I do blocks or transactions first? Oh yeah, the other thing obviously that I'm gonna do is once I visualize the network, I'm gonna use this here to get more data from the addresses and then investigate further and then do the network X for the data on the addresses as well. I think I'll do the block first. I don't like VS Code as much for Python. I prefer PyCharm, but I'm using PyCharm for the other stuff to extract data. So I have to use VS Code for this. So it's saying that this path is wrong. So this is supposed to go on folder up, then data, then info. What's up with this? How can I print the directory? I think I have to use OS. OS dots. I think it's maybe current there, something like that. There. Or maybe it's get current there. I just look it up if I can't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, I need to have a file object or something like that. So what's wrong with this? Maybe I misspelled? I didn't think so. Yeah. Maybe I should do like this. It's one back and then on data, block, info, one. Maybe we should change this name as well, just to make it simpler. I don't think it's gonna solve the issue, but Oh, it's because I'm executing from the root. That's why. I'm not executing from the place where the file is. So I think I can do it just like this. Not probably gonna work. I had this problem as well when I was working on offshoring all my own stuff. Okay, so now it's still not working. If I do it like this, it's in data and then blocks. Forgot the S. So now. There we go. So now I'm just gonna get the name of the columns. I think that's it. It's only, yeah. I thought there were more columns, to be honest. And I'm gonna make a bunch of variables. Well, now I'm not sure if this is a column or not. I think not. I'm just gonna make difficulty equals block difficulty extra data extra data, just so I can have all of them to make different connections. Oh, there's more columns actually. Yeah, I was thinking that this is weird because, so maybe a better way to do this is for call in block dot columns, I think. Maybe that's, I'm not sure if that works. Print call. I don't remember. I'll just look it up if it doesn't. How to loop through all the columns of a data frame. I think I know. I just use ilock. Then 0 for the row, 1 for, or 0? 0, 0, maybe. Let's test this. It's probably not gonna work. So maybe it's the other way? NumPy object's not iterable. It's easier just to look it up. df.columns. So I think I'm gonna change this here. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to call, but I remember correctly. Okay, so now it makes more sense. Hash equals block. Well, the thing about these hashes as well is that I have to be careful because I don't remember. Yeah, I think if I want to extract data from the places that I have hash, I used the .hex to convert from hash to something else, so that it didn't break the data frame. Because if I didn't, then the columns would be messed up. So I have to remember that, because I'm probably gonna have to look it up on how to convert back into whatever it was to get data from using Fura or Alchemy with Web3 from the blockchain. But let me see if transactions. So, or addresses, let's say. If I did use that for addresses, because I think the most important thing is gonna be using the addresses to get the data, the extra data, whatever data I'm gonna get from the blockchain. And I don't think here I can see at least. Well, transactions root.tax. So I have block hash, block number, from, add the from, and should don't have the hex, so I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that. Yeah. So gas limit, and I typed wrong here. Gas limit. So gas used. That was correct. Hash. Equals. Maybe I should destructure this so I can fit in more on the same line. I was gonna worry about that actually. I forgot 0. Okay, so So size, state, root. Got all of them. Yeah, so maybe I actually should destructure this because I'm gonna get the information from the other ones, so it might be confusing. But then I'm worried that this is gonna affect everything else. So I think I can do this, yeah. I'm just make sure. Okay, so it works. So I'm gonna put the other ones here to decrease the amount of lines. Yeah, let's use maybe 4 per line is better. I think I'll put one more. Hash. So, I actually should use this as the first one. Okay, I think I have now all of them. So let me see which one I wanna do first. So I think gas limits sounds cool. Gas limit gas used. Gas limit. Gas used. I'm not sure if the total difficulty is something interesting to look at. And the other ones I'm also not really sure. Because I don't... Maybe I should look it up. What information they give. And maybe the miner. Miner is good. The number I don't think makes sense. Should look at. Transaction route might be interesting. Yeah, it won't allow me to understand anything just by looking at this, but I still think it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of connections I get from which one. Yeah, so I think the way that I did it, I can either use because I can only put two nodes, two nodes in the same edge. I can create 3 nodes actually, and then 2 edges as well. It is interesting to see gas limits. I guess so. So but then I forgot because I have to loop through something in order to create the edges. I forgot the way that I did it the first time that I did this. I think I put all of them in a list and then I looped through that list to create the nodes and the edges. But the connection between the 3 of them I don't remember really well. Maybe we can just do I in range length block, and then I just use that. Or I can loop through the data itself. Because I got the series here for each of them. So it doesn't make sense to use these variables here inside of this loop. Unless I use some iLock or something like that. And maybe I can do add nodes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that actually. I can just create 3 nodes. Mat dot add nodes, and then I think I don't remember really well. Probably just gonna look at the source code. And probably you put like this, and then the name, gas limits. And let me see. F12 should go to the source code. So it takes the nodes and what arguments. I think title I can put the same thing, maybe. Size is probably not needed as well, because I'm gonna change later with the neighbors. Oh yeah, then the problem is that I'm not gonna be able to, well, I can loop through the nodes and then change the colors depending on what I wanna do. Shape as well. I think I'm gonna leave the default shape is probably dot, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I think this should be a list. I'm just gonna make it equal to that. Let me run this and see if it's gonna break. So it's telling me that they have mixed types, but I get that a lot. A lot of the times when I did stuff with data frames, I get that a lot. I'm not really sure why. I think sometimes strings get mixed up or messed up, depending on the way you got the data. And to fix this, you can do some things, but remember when I try to fix this, sometimes it just keeps giving the warning, so I'm not even gonna bother. But I think it's running correctly. I'm not sure why it's showing this. Did it print somewhere? No. Yeah, so I can do the same thing. Yeah, the thing is it gonna add different? Oh, I think the difference is on the title, probably. Oh, and I have to put the name. Yes. No. Oh, maybe no. No. I don't need to put the name. Just do it like this. And then I do add edges. Oh, actually, this one has to come here. Yeah. It's gonna be between this and this. And then the other one is gonna be from gas use to miner. Or maybe I should do gas limit. No, gas limit. Yeah, gas use to miner. Let me see if I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then I can do net.show. Just save the file. And I also need to pass the filter which is physics, I think. So I think I'm gonna save this probably on templates. Templates. Blocks. Yes. That's HTML. Filter. Equals to physics. Let's see if this works. So far, so good. I think the transactions are gonna be more interesting to see. And probably more interesting stuff. Texture material given. What? 931. Oh, maybe I do have to create the variable here. I don't remember really well. Maybe I should open the other project that I did. Just because it's easier than looking it up. To return back to work, but just have you considered doing Kaggle? I did all the courses on Kaggle, and I did a competition there, the beginner one. But yeah, it's not that interesting to me because I might do it eventually, but it's not that interesting because it doesn't relate to anything that I want to do. So I think it's probably better to spend my time actually trying to do something that is interesting to me while I learn. And when I was trying to do the competitions, it just feels like you have to clean all this data and do all this stuff, but it's not really something you're interested about. Can be a good Kaggler and do Kaggle on Twitch. Like what? What do you mean? The last thing you said there. I forgot. Okay, job projects. No, I think it was in the Python folder, yeah. So many things that I did that I don't remember anymore. The things that interests you, there's a bunch of things, but blockchain, the economy, blockchain, and what else? Just capturing physics also, general relativity, capturing the states, let's say states of consciousness, as songs, music. For example, music, also YouTube recommendation, understanding the flow of the internet. Like for one thing that I thought about, for example, was to gather data about the wires, the connection of the wires in the globe, and then do some models of how electricity is traveling all around, and then try to make connections based on that, on the rate of innovation and technology. So stuff like that. Yeah. So that is because the first step is you gather data, and that will be the data gathering part. And then once I had that data, then run analysis on it using deep learning. Because all the deep learning release is gradient descent, so it's pretty much derivatives. So at the bottom of it is just physics and math. And the fundamental part is understanding eigenvectors and referential frames. And I think the problem with deep learning is that it misses a deeper point about the epistemology of physics and science, which is that life is experience is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the problem is that the moment you get the data, you're already assuming that it's true. So it comes after your experience. And when you're making models based on that, then you run into the problem of overfitting and stuff like that. So to understand more of what's going on, I think you need to build a bigger system that is more holistic, let's say. And the way to do that is by thinking about general relativity and quantum mechanics and how gravity relates to everything else and the electromagnetism, and putting all these formulas on a file and playing around with these formulas and visualizing them. And one thing I was talking about as well today was the idea of trying to display the blockchain as a geometrical structure. That sounds very interesting as well. And then perform calculations on that to see if there's relationships between the flow of information, the flow not only of money but of electricity in the social network. Try to represent the social network as a fractal geometrical structure in relationship to space-time, and run studies based on that in order to see if it's possible to find a system or a set of rules that is able to improve the systems we have. I think that's much more appealing to me than the Kaggle stuff. Like you memorizing how things work but don't understand them is basically an overfitting. Yeah, I think all of our evolution is overfitted. The limbic system overfits the environment. That's the problem. And it balances out with the prefrontal cortex, but the prefrontal cortex is not strong enough, and the frequency is asymmetrical. That's the issue. But you can say everything that you know, logic itself is overfitting. Because it's impossible for you to say that physics is true, because you're always trapped by the sample size that you have access to. And the sample size you have access to is already a consequence of your experience. So abstraction is consequence of your experience. Space-time is a fractal geometry that is the parsing of infinity through a reference frame of experience through the filters of perception, which are sensations. So the moment you have sensations, you have a convergent multifractal symmetry that creates geometrical structure, which is logic and abstraction. And the representation of that is space-time, which is just a projection of the experience of the now through a reference frame. Because time and future, past and future are actually the same thing, because it's not the same thing, but they are born out of the same place. It's just an illusion. Time doesn't exist. Space-time is just an illusion created by the experience of the now. So that's the biggest problem with science, is that you reach this block where you can't go anymore, because you're always trapped by this hard problem of consciousness. And that's why nobody can figure out the gravity, because gravity in a sense is God. It's the assumption that assumptions of cause and effect relationships based on time. And then you can say that, well, the difference between the past and the future is entropy, but entropy is always relative to the experience of the now. So you could travel back in time, but if you did that, then you wouldn't be who you are. So that would change the whole structure of the universe in which you exist. And the universe that you exist is a consequence of your experience, which is your identity. So here just added nodes. I did not make it equal to a variable. Well, I'm not adding color to them as well, which is another thing. So why is this saying that I'm putting 3? Oh, 3 or given. Oh no, takes true positional arguments with 3 or given. What does that mean? Maybe I should take this title off. Thank you, man. Yeah, right. I think you said you were gonna work or something like that. Yeah, so good luck with your work. Let's see if this works now. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I'm probably gonna have to do one by one instead of adding all of them at once. Or maybe if I transform this in an NP array. Let me run this again because I'm not sure if the stuff there was messing this up. Probably not, but I can try to turn this into an NP array, or I can try to turn it into a list. Just show numpy. Yeah, it doesn't work, so I'm gonna try to do this. Yeah, show numpy. I forgot to. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this. Or maybe the edges expects one argument at a time. That's the problem. Well, the method serves to add multiple edges between existing nodes in the network. Adding of the edges is done based off the ideas of the node. So maybe if I loop through them and a list of tuples, each tuple consists of source of edges. Oh, so yeah, because this is gonna create an edge between the nodes of the list, and that's not what I want. So what I have to do is I'm gonna loop through gas. I'm gonna loop through gas limit, and because I wanna do from gas limit to, yeah, but order doesn't matter as well. So maybe it doesn't matter. For node and that's not nodes. And then I'm gonna do that. Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing, because I wanna add edges between these nodes. I'm not sure if it makes a difference. What you think now? Because I can just put net.nodes on the edge there. I think what it does creates edges between the nodes of the list that you pass. Or I can just create another list and pass that list there to add edges. Yeah, because if I do net.edges and then I pass the first ones, oh, but then I'm gonna have all of them actually, because they are both already added to the network. Oh, but here is saying it takes two positional arguments. What's up with that? Maybe it's referring to solve? Let me just try to do it like this. Oh, that should be edges. If I can't do it like this, then I'm gonna put all the nodes in. Oh, I'm so dumb. I could just do. Oh, actually, I can't. I was gonna say that I can do net.add add edge, then put the series there, but maybe it doesn't work. I actually don't need these things here. Just realized that. Yeah, I can just loop through it's probably a lot better. I think I didn't want to do that because it got I went through the trouble of getting the variables there. So for values, yeah, but then I have to think. How to select the column. I think I can do that with ilock or lock. I think ilock, and then just put the name of the column. But I also remember that there were a different easier way to do this. Lock. Yeah, iter rows is low. I'm just trying to see if I remember how to do it with 2 columns. I just want to connect one column to the other, and I think there was a way. I'm probably gonna graph out of minus data frame columns. I think there was an easy way to do that, but I don't remember. Well, let me open the project again. The other one. Because now I remember there was a specific graph that I didn't look into, which is the one that connects all the 3 names. It goes here. Yeah, but I don't think I have it here on this one. Maybe if I open the other, I'll probably find out. Oh. So this is just connecting 2 of them. Yeah, this is the thing that I was talking about that I forgot. I can use zip, and then that's gonna create the tuple. It's a lot better. And then I can just use that to create the loop. I think I'm gonna copy the rest as well. There's no point in rewriting stuff. Oh, I also did it in the wrong place, this physics stuff. Actually, here. So I'm gonna take this off here. And this one is gonna be gas limits, gas used, and minor. Yeah, so now I think it's correct. So obviously the 0 index is gas limit. The other one is gas used. Then I push one node that connects gas use. I make the node of the gas limit with the node of gas used. And then I create two edges, one from gas limit to gas used, the other from gas used to minor. And I'm gonna take this shape out of here. Just leave the default one. Then, let me think. I could also clean this data frame in the beginning. And drop NA. I think I'm gonna do that. There's no reason to not do it. Transaction. So yeah, I think that's it. Then neighbor map is the thing to get the amount of neighbors each node has, and then you can make the value, which is the size of each node, equals to the length of the neighbor map node ID, which means that the more connections a node has, the bigger the value is gonna be. The bigger the size of the node is gonna be. And these ones were for specific values to change the color in the specific values. Yeah, so if the node is between 5 and 10, then the color is blue, and so on. So I think, yeah, let's see if this works. I also think there was a method to create, so I'm probably gonna look at that as well. But I'm not sure if I can do this one just with PyVis. I might have to use the actual NetworkX library instead, because PyVis is an extension of NetworkX. Expects a square matrix of nodes and edges. I wonder if there's a way to pass a whole data frame and then capture all the connections of the data frame. Because the thing is you have to specify the edges. But maybe, because it doesn't seem like it's something that would be that hard to do. You just implement in the backend, let's say in the background. You just implement a standard method to connect all of them and make that part of the library. df columns x equals sp. There's probably a wrong here, a mistake, because it didn't open up anything. What does that mean? If href in title Type error argument of type int is not iterable. Oh, maybe my virtual environment is getting the other private library, but I don't think so. No, seems to be the official one. So I don't understand what's going on here. So there's no href here. Maybe just if I change the title. If I do like this. I don't think it's gonna solve it, but it's worth trying, I think. Templates, blocks, gas miner. Argument of type int 421. And title, so saying title is int. And dot soft. Oh, so it's on the node's title. The problem. Oh. Argument of type int is not iterable. And dot get title. I don't get why it would do that. Oh, maybe I have to turn this into strings. Because they're probably... But it's weird because on the other ones I didn't have to do that. But maybe it was because it was a different type of data that I was putting here. Let's see if I do this, it's gonna work. Another thing that I just realized, why does... I think now it worked apparently. I have to change the browser. That PyCharm opens up. Not PyCharm, VS Code. And I'm not sure how to do that on VS Code. If I just type here. It was Chrome as default. Oh, that's for live server. Let me see if, yeah, okay. So it worked. should change default browser. VS Code. Oh, the other thing that I realized is that maybe it's possible to use this href. I didn't even think about that before, but when it comes to making each node go to a certain page or something like that, it might be possible to use the href to create a link, because I was doing a project of creating the language hierarchy tree, the folder tree, and I created a script that displays the folder hierarchy, the tree hierarchy of a folder, and I ran it with a bunch of documentation from programming languages libraries. So it might be an interesting thing to do to see if I can, because the problem with that project is that a lot of the files have the same name, but they actually point to different things once you open up the documentation. But just looking at the graph, you can't know that. And then I tried to implement extra functionality, but it was taking too long to make it so that when you click on the node, it goes to the page of the documentation. So maybe that might be a possible way to do that, by just placing the href there. Because otherwise, why would they have that check there? So it might be something interesting to look into later. I'm not sure if I will, but yeah. Yeah, but this is for our live server. So settings, default browser. Which I did that time. Then, or maybe it's on workspace. Doesn't change anything. Find open in browser. Yeah, but I'm not sure if this is just for live server or for actually the VS Code one. Because I want to make it so it stops opening up Internet Explorer once I save the graph. But whatever, it's not that big of a deal. So it doesn't look like there is a lot actually, which is kind of weird to be honest. Because it's supposed to have 2 million blocks. I guess the script visualization stuff that I did had close to 2 million connections as well. So maybe that's why I was expecting a lot more. I have 0 there. Maybe a different. Yeah, this one is usually the best one to look at. Yeah, but it doesn't look that interesting. It's just everything connected to this one. So I'm connecting gas limit. Maybe I'm doing something wrong actually. Because I'm supposed to be connecting gas limit with the gas used and miner. Or maybe all the information that I'm getting was from one miner, which is the node. That might be the case. Which is the node from the alchemy stuff. And this is still not good. Or maybe if I pause it like this, yeah. It just says 0 here. Hmm. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change. Let's see. I'm gonna take one of them out to see if the connections change. And I'm also gonna print this to see if I'm getting the correct information for each of them. Source, that's. So I'm gonna comment this one out and this one out. So let me see which one I take out first. I think gas limits. But that's a problem because if I comment this out, I have to change the other ones. Or maybe the easiest way is to just replace out of here. Or take this off. And then comment this one out. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna put it here. I'll be right back. Yeah, like I thought, this thing doesn't change the default browser from. I guess that it's a different way that it gets access to the browser. Maybe it's getting the from some how can I say, from the operational system, and is it setting on the operational system and not on the browser or something like that that I have to change on VS Code so it doesn't open the Internet Explorer. And this is just like I thought as well, so probably the miner is 0 in this case. But not really sure why though. Oh, maybe it's gas used that is 0 actually, and the miner is not. That would make a lot more sense. Because it doesn't make sense for the alchemy to be the miner if it's getting blocks from the blockchain. Yeah, maybe the gas is 0. That's what's going on. So next, obviously, I'm gonna remove the gas and see what happens. Oh, no, I think the miner is 0 probably. There's something really weird here. Maybe I mixed up the columns in the data frame. That could be possible as well. Because the gas limit shouldn't be, gas used shouldn't be this string here. The string is just an address. So I might have mixed up. Yeah, I knew something was wrong here. I think it's this thing here that is wrong. I think I'm getting the wrong columns. Let's see, minor. So difficulty, and I have this 5,000. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, but here I have an index as well. So it should be correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is gas? Gas limit and gas used. Oh, maybe it's because of the hacks, I think. It might be because of that. Hmm. Let me see. No, but gas limit and gas used, I'm not converting with hacks. Neither minor, so it can't be the because of the hacks thing. So what's going on here? Doesn't make any sense. It's probably better if I open as an actual file to see as well. I'm just gonna look it up. Probably easier. Oh. But there's something really strange about this. I guess I could also print the file as well. Print the values of each one. To see. Which is which. But I assume that gas used is probably 0. But then how is gas limit an address? Doesn't make sense. Maybe just gas limit is probably 0 as well, and minor are the addresses. I guess that's what's happening. Oh, gas limit is 5,000. Yeah, so the minor are the addresses. Yeah, that makes more sense. I don't think I'm gonna do any other graphs for the block, because the other ones don't seem that interesting actually. I think it's more interesting to do the graphs for the transactions data frame, and then after that start getting information from these addresses, see what I can get. I think obviously first thing that comes to mind is balance and transactions for address, and if I could do that, then the graph gets more interesting, because you get to see the transactions of each address and the balances, and then make the value or the size of the node equal to the balance amount of the address. So what I'm gonna do here is connect each address because apparently all the miners are different here as well. Otherwise there would be a connection between miners, which is the thing, which I thought it would be, to be honest. Well, actually not, because yeah, I have to think about a way to capture how many times one specific miner shows up, but I think if I just do the connection only with the miners, it's probably gonna capture them. Now let me just think, because I want to see if there are addresses that are the same here. I can also do, there's probably a method for seeing that on Arcan's data file. So, and this one seems to be this one. So there are duplicates. So how can I connect them? The same thing. I guess if I just look to the hash data and make it equal to E. Yeah. I think I did like this last time. And then it's not gonna connect sequentially, because if the names are the same, then it doesn't create new nodes. It just uses the other one. And then here I can do G. Maybe I should save these ones, so I don't have to think about it whenever I'm gonna change this. Key. And here I can do key +1 and string. And I guess if I put on the try accept blocks, it's already gonna cache the keys for the last node, which is gonna mess up the index, but maybe not. So let me see. If not, then I just put if key is different than -1 in the beginning. Take this off. Double out of range. Huh. Because it's a zip. Change to list. Which is probably already. Yeah, let's see if this works. Or maybe we can do just do chew numpy then. String index out of range. It's not working. I didn't want to change that, just in case. But I guess I can do Ctrl Z. Just in case I forgot how I did that. And I think I'm gonna remember. So why is saying index out of range? Don't understand. That should be this one. But the prints edge data break. Yeah, it seems to be fine. Oh, I guess it's just one element. That's the problem. But why isn't creating? It's transforming all the series into the list. So maybe I should just do minor here. Oh, actually, I'm gonna revert the other one. Yeah, so here I'm gonna put minor and see if it works. Print key. Okay, so yeah, not sure. Oh, with this one. So I am getting the address. Oh, it's because of the thing that I was talking about. Yeah, but then it wouldn't be printing for each iteration. That's what does make sense. Just confirm that and see if this works. Oh, I got it. Yeah. I'm supposed to do it like this instead. I got confused there. So the other ones probably worked as well. It's supposed to be like this. Zip object not subscriptable. So I'm just gonna do minor here. Minor. Oh, I'm doing the hash data here. That's why. Yeah, now it probably worked. There we go. So I still got some messages. Yeah, here shouldn't be, but it's probably because it's the last node, which is out of range. I think I'm gonna put some other music. Some Harry Mack. Damn. Yeah, this one is more interesting because now I can see that there are definitely miners that show up a lot more. Hmm. And it's very concentrated in the middle here. So I think it probably follows a Pareto distribution. That would make a lot of sense. It's so nice to visualize these graphs. Not really sure why I enjoy it so much, but there's also some connections here outside. And the biggest problem here is that it's gonna be hard to visualize the ones in the middle because there's so many edges. God damn. Yeah, and the problem with this is obviously that I don't have the information. I just have the address. And to me, this is the biggest problem with this network X library, is that you can't really do much with the nodes. It would be nice if you could, but I'm not sure if it's worth to go back and try to add the extra functionality. Go back to researching the library, seeing if I can modify stuff to do the things that I want. Because obviously it would be a lot better if I could just click on the node and then see information about the address. And also that's the thing that I was talking about in the beginning, of being able not only to display the information like this, but also capturing the distance in connection between them. That would be interesting as well. So but the issue with that's really hard, because yeah, it's probably impossible, because I don't really have the information of the location, obviously. But maybe use other concepts, other physical concepts in physics to determine some kind of relationship that is a closer representation of this in space-time as well, with the transactions. That's the main thing that I wanna see if I can connect, which is not only the transactions but their relationship to space-time, because that's a fundamental part, obviously, of social structures and how they evolve over time. And it seems like it is, the connections at least between these miners, is kind of like a fractal thing, where you have all the concentration in the middle, but it seems like each of these nodes is connected to other ones. I guess it has to be like that because that's the way that the network works. Everyone is connected. But it seems like each one has its patterns as well. The ones outside, they're connected to at least two of the big ones. It's very interesting. I'm just pausing here and thinking, because it's kind of still hard for me to know exactly what I wanna extract from this. I can't quite, let's say, put my finger on the thing that I'm trying to abstract away from this. It has to do with the geometrical structure, but to make the connection is kind of hard for me. I guess it's just being able to extract out of the geometry information on these other physical relationships that I talked about. Yeah, because that's the main thing. I think that the connections follow fractal patterns, social structures, and everything else in the universe follows fractal patterns. So I think the main thing is understanding the connections so I can get an approximation of the geometry of the connections of social structures And so I can use that in order to figure out how the structure itself evolves over time. So let's say like the collective consciousness. As if the way that I'm imagining is as if you could see the connection between minds and bodies in space-time, the way that ideas travel through time, through information and conversation. So information exchange is just a different way. It's sound, which is just a different way to pass stimulus, and then electricity is obviously the other way. So you have electricity traveling, which is the electromagnetic field being manipulated through space-time and becoming impulses in people's minds, which translates to more information being exchanged. So that's one way. The other way is through sound, and then it becomes computation again through the. So each person is kind of like a gate, a computational gate based on the body and the mind, the connection of the electromagnetic impulses that creates abstraction, and the flow of information that becomes computation through this process of the impulses in the body becomes ideas in the mind, which are abstractions. Those ideas evolve and they create innovation, and the innovation changes the impulse, and that creates the cycle of evolution, and that cycle is filtered through the market economy, which is basically it's very simple. Actually, I was just thinking about this today, I think, or yesterday, which is just if you think about it, supply and demand. Supply is the prefrontal cortex and demand is the limbic system. So a market is kind of like a conversation between the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex, which is the same thing that happens in the individual. And that's the way that that's the way we decide what we want to do and what we don't want to do, what gets built and what doesn't get built. And I think that's the distribution, which is a fractal geometrical structure. So if I could measure the length, let's say, of this distribution, or yeah, then you can get the frequency that it fluctuates through time. Because I think that's what matters the most, probably. Yeah, understanding this relationship, I think, between the connections, the information flowing through time to create the connections, and the structure of social structure, the hierarchies, and how these hierarchies become technology, and then how the technology changes the impulses on the hierarchies themselves and creates this effect where you have polarization, because that's what power does, which is another thing. So power and technology is like the stimulus, the flow of the stimulus is changing the molecules of the structure and changing its behavior. So it's kind of like water going from ice to liquid to gas. It is the same thing, but with information instead, where the speed of information changes the rate of innovation and everything else. And that cycle is regulated or pretty much based on market economies, because the politics can't regulate a market economy at a global scale because of the number. And that So what needs to change is the frequency. I think. Because the other problems are probably impossible. You can't predict the future. So you can't really do anything about how unexpected technology can be and innovation can be. Because that's always going to be unpredictable. So you can't put it on a strategy. So to work with what I have, I think the best approach is try to change this frequency, which is how fast the regulation happens and how fast the movement happen. Because the market adapts through these impulses. Technology gets created and the technology has the impact. The impact causes pain because technology is not perfect and nothing is perfect. And the pain that it causes makes people learn and then gathers enough mass for enough people to be in enough pain in order to change the direction that the technology goes, and that follows the cycle and the frequency of the way that things get created. And the problem is that the more power you have, the more important it becomes the speed of regulation of those cycles. So the mass, I think, yeah, that's one key component, is trying to capture the mass. Because the way that I look at it is like you have the masses, you have normal probabilistic distributions becoming Pareto distributions in a fractal way because everything's fractal. But this is a geometrical structure that is constantly moving based on the mass of the whole thing. So the mass of, let's say, the collective consciousness. So usually the leaders become aware first, and then they are the ones that decide the movement because they are on the edges, and the masses follows that movement and creates the pendulum. So you have them going on different directions and balancing themselves out in this pendulum. And the frequency through which they balance themselves out is influenced by the power that each one has, which is the tension within the structure itself, I think. So the power, but the question is, why does power polarize? I think it's because everything is a fractal, so everything is perceived through, because perception is symmetry and it's converging because there's infinite possibility. So there is no true symmetry, but everything is converging towards symmetry because that's the nature of perception. And because of that, everything is polarizing in all the scales of symmetrical relationships that form the geometrical structure of something. So it's not like it's polarizing just at one level, it's polarizing at all the levels in which the perception parses infinity, creating the geometrical structure of that thing. And that is influenced by the speed of information, which becomes power through abstraction. And abstraction becomes technology, then technology becomes power. And I think the balance here is the challenge is figuring out the correct distribution of power so that this rate of innovation doesn't destruct itself, so it's fast enough, it's synchronized with its own innovation in order to achieve synchronicity and balance. And I think that's possible by gathering data over that's the question, the challenge. what kinds of data I need and what kinds of formulas I need as well. I think that's what I'm trying to get at with this. Because blockchain is one way to get that, get at least some portions of that by studying the markets and the data from them. So I'm just trying to think here because I want to think about exactly what I want to build or what direction I'm going before I do these graphs here. So I can know what do I want to extract. Okay, so how does everything that I said relate to the blockchain and economy? So I think transactions are obviously, maybe not obviously, but they are this computation that is happening through information. So the market adapts to the environment through this relationship. The consumer is the limbic system and the supply the prefrontal cortex. So how do I capture that from the connections in transactions is the question, I think. Yeah, that's the key relationship that I want to see, because obviously I don't know for sure if the way that I'm thinking is correct or not, or even a good approximation of what's actually going on. Yeah, I think what I want to get is the fluctuation in reserves is probably the best approach. Fluctuation, so both volume of transactions, fluctuation of reserves, and the connection between different addresses. But not only the connection, it has to be the addresses connected in a logical way based on these physical principles of the flow of money, liquidity, right, which is the same thing, and the connections between different addresses. I'm not sure if for later it's probably important to capture also the connection in space-time, the distance between each node. But since I don't think that's possible to do, I think for now it's probably not that important. Because what's more important is the way that they relate. Well, actually, it is important. Because culture and politics is obviously gonna affect all the decisions. But that's the thing, because if you actually want to make something perfect, you're not going to be able to do it because it's too much information. There's too many variables and it's not computationally reducible. So all I can do is just focus on getting the smallest amount first, and then basing that on the principles of physics, I think. Yeah, but so what I'm trying to get at is the connection between the transactions and what's happening in let's say space-time on each particular thing. But with the internet, it changes a lot because you're obviously not bounded to your specific region, so the definition of space-time changes. And I think that's probably the reason why everything is moving through to the internet. It's the same thing that is gonna happen, but it's happening with data instead of countries, with territories. That's what's going on. So that's the essence I think I want to capture, which is how does the mind and body structure the space in which it exists. Because just like countries are abstractions on territories and they actually don't exist, obviously, in reality, but that's the way that the collective consciousness maps out the environment, that it structures the environment over time. And that's obviously gonna depend on a bunch of variables, so it's not gonna be that distribution every single time. But I think there are, because everything is fractal, because probably the laws of physics are somewhat a good approximation of what's might be happening, you can abstract fundamental principles from the way that the collective consciousness is gonna organize itself. And I think that's happening with data now, because this thing with the internet, it breaks boundaries. So the space becomes the abstract space. Yeah, so what kind of data I can connect this with? To see, maybe social media is gonna be a good one. And the problem is with getting data from social media is that you need APIs and to spend money. But maybe I can get it from YouTube. The other way would be to... Yeah, because the main thing that I want to get is the technology that happened through this time of all these transactions and accounts. That's the thing. It's making connections based on the transactions and the volume and the space in which the market exists. Through physical concepts. But that's why location is important. But maybe I can capture some information of location based on the connections, because I can just abstract away, because I'm not really interested in the actual space itself. It's more about the connection, I think. Yeah, I think it's more about the connection. So the biggest problem is the impulses, because how are you gonna... You can't compute all the impulses, all the innovation, the technology that happened. So how that's I think the missing point of what I'm trying to do. It's how to connect this information with all the other stuff, or not necessarily connect, but create a framework to see if I can find the relationship, abstract away this fundamental geometrical structure of the way that human beings interact. I think I'm gonna do the transactions one. the transactions data frame. Yeah, so I'm gonna should do the. Oh, I think his columns is better. Yeah, this one is an obvious connection from and to. So I think that's all the columns. Block hash, block number from gas price hash input nonce rs true type v value. I think this v and this s, this stuff, the data comes that way, so I don't necessarily know what it means. Yeah, there's no. Oh, it's item true. No, that's another thing. Yeah, it's just it came with the data. So maybe I should print that. Transaction B or V. I'm gonna comment this out just so it doesn't create a graph each time. So it's apparently just numbers. Yeah, I can look at the documentation in case I wanna know. So this is a bunch of. Seems like there's some addresses here as well. Maybe the format is different because I did the .hex function or .hex to convert. Same thing with this one. So I think what I'm gonna do for the transactions is just the from and to. Oh, it's a special keywords. Maybe if I just do like this. Yeah, I think it would be good to get the balances instead. That's the things that I need actually. I need the addresses, the connection between the addresses, the balances of the addresses, and the transactions of the addresses. And then the simulation that I want to do is to see the difference in the nodes, to make the nodes equal to the balance. But I won't be able to do this with Network X. I think I'm gonna have to figure out a way to use the canvas to make this animation. But essentially to see the flow of money through time and how that changes the balances on the all different accounts. You know, how that changes the connection. Yeah, that's, I think, this is the interesting part. And then just see if I figure out a way to see, maybe using machine learning or something like that, to figure out if I can place some equations on physics to do simulations based on that. Or to try to abstract something away from that. I have to open a new one here. I think what I'm gonna do as well is transform this into a site, this one. Just a simple site to display the information on of the addresses and stuff like that. Not necessarily of these data frames, but I think I'm gonna get some decentralized exchange or something like that. One that is easy to get information from. I think Sushi, the one I already got, it's quite easy to get information from the blockchain, but I want to see if I can do something. Maybe I can use the one that I'm using to extract information from Ethereum, the one that I used to get these data frames. I want to create something that is gonna capture the data from an API or something like that from the blockchain, and then display on the website the transactions and kind of like a block explorer. And I think it's not that difficult. Just use the NFC provider, and then I'm gonna look into the commands from ethers or from web3.py to see what kind of information I can extract and then display on the website. I think that's a good idea, since it's probably not gonna be that hard, just the CSS stuff. I think the hardest part is gonna be trying to build this animation with Canvas but I think I know already how to pass variables from Jinja to JavaScript, so I can use on JavaScript. I think I already did this in a previous project, so I can use that I can use the data frames in order to extract information, put it on a variable, and then use that variable in order to create the animations. The difficult part is the stuff that I was talking about, in actually understanding what kind of relationships I want to capture from this data and what kind of analysis I'm trying to do. That's the thing that I'm not really 100% certain still. But maybe it's probably better if I just do it like the way that I'm doing now, which is just building and seeing what happens and then going from there. I think the next thing I'm gonna do after I do this animation is gonna do the physics library, get some equations from physics, and which now I think I realize is not that hard to do. You just translate the formulas into functions. Sometimes it can be quite hard depending on what is the mathematics, but I think for the most part it's probably not going to be that hard. And then obviously the hard part is the eigenvectors and stuff like that from relativity, and actually trying to make sense of that and putting that on coding format, and then using that stuff in machine learning in order to analyze the data further and try to capture different relationships. I'll be right back. Yeah, this one seems more interesting. You can see some transactions that are outside and then a lot different ones here. Quite interesting. It's very slow because there are probably lots of nodes. I think maybe more than almost 2 million, something like that. And this one is really interesting. It seems like there are also some, it's probably decentralized oracles or something like that. These ones that are big. The other ones are probably personal addresses. And I think the reason that why there aren't many ones of the big ones is probably because I'm getting the earlier blocks of the blockchain. I think once I have the full thing and I inspect the latest ones, there are probably gonna be more of these big ones that connect the other ones, which are companies, I think. Might be, I'm not sure. The other thing that I just thought about is I probably can filter after I build the graph, filter the nodes to see after I do this loop here. This one, to filter the nodes again to see and capture, put it on another data frame, the ones that have a certain amount of connections, to investigate them further. I think that's what I'm gonna do actually. Sounds like a very interesting idea. I don't know why it's so slow. It's supposed to be... it doesn't look like there are lots of nodes. So it's supposed to be a little faster than this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do right now, is just get the addresses of these big ones and put on the block explorer. After I do that, I'm gonna see on the Web3 what information I can get from the addresses. Then create a script to get the additional information, maybe create another data frame. Or maybe create a graph in the same script without having to put it on a data frame. I think that's the difference between what I want to do and the way that this one is. I think it would be cool to be able to see not only the connections but the evolution. That's why the animation I think is going to be better. I have to think about how I can do that. I think animation is a way where I not only have the collections but I can see the way that they were formed through time. That's the interesting part, I think. I'm just gonna wait a little bit until it stabilizes so I can look at the bigger ones. I guess power also has to do with gravity. Because like big companies get bigger. That's part of the Pareto distribution, and I think that's because of gravity. The mass of the thing gets bigger because of inertia, momentum. So the question is what kind of events or what kind of circumstances change the mass or the direction, because eventually it changes. Every empire collapses, every big company fails eventually, just like with everything else. So the question is how to get, or is it even possible to get enough information to create a physical model of the movement that doesn't necessarily need to predict what's gonna happen, but to readjust the frequency in which it happens, so that is synchronized with the evolution. Not evolution, so it's synchronized with the growth of exponential tech. So it balances it out. I'm just gonna do this manually for now. And maybe I should actually put this on a data frame. I'm gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna do another script. Push this into a data frame in the end, and then the end of the script that I already have, and then create another script to read the data frame and look into the Web3 thing to extract information from the addresses. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if I wanna... I think it's Etherscan, not Block Explorer. Yeah, this is the one that I wanna use. So what is this? It looks like it's not active in a very long time. Let's do divided by 365. Yeah, 5.5 years. And what is this exactly? Hmm. So it doesn't have any money creator address. It's weird that it doesn't look like it does anything. Send amount. Function for send amount block limit. The maps an address to uint last sent. Message that sender equals block number. So it's mapping block numbers, I think. So if the balance of the address is bigger and block number is bigger than last sent, it sends the amount. Hmm. It looks like this one was active. Not more active than the other one recently. Dwarf pool. It seems like it's a miner. So it's created by a miner. Yeah. Yeah, so not much information that I can get from this. That's the other thing, because I'm not sure if the addresses I'm getting, because there are different types of addresses. There's smart contracts and personal addresses, and not all of them are gonna have balances as well. So that's another thing too. Maybe I'll have to look it up and build a instrumented Ethereum instrumented EVM in order to get the most level of accuracy. But I think actually I'm not gonna do it for what I was talking about for the addresses on Ethereum. I think that's gonna be much harder and more long term. I think I'm gonna do it for the DEXs. It's probably better to do the animations and try to capture connections and stuff like that with the information I get from the DEXs instead. So uh, liquidity transactions, that kind of stuff. And maybe I can compare this data with the market data of prices on CoinMarketCap, I think. Okay, so let me look at another one. Actually, I think I can close this one. Yeah, but it's weird that it has so many connections here, but there it doesn't seem like it has a lot of transactions. That's the thing. That doesn't add up. So I think that's the biggest one. This one might be interesting. Oh, this one has been active recently. Polonix. Huh. $2 million in value. So this looks like it might be a company or something like that. I guess the reason why it didn't show a lot of transactions in the previous one is because probably this doesn't show all the transactions of an address. It just shows these ones, the initial ones. I'm gonna put this name on Google as well, or DuckDuckGo, try to see if there is any information about it. So this has 43 million. Oh, so it's just two different addresses of the same thing. Yeah, there's no contract here. The latest 25 from a total of 2 million transactions, yeah. So it just shows the latest. That's why the other time it didn't show. Engine. It's probably a company, I think. Three hours ago. Maybe it's not a big, yeah. Maybe it's not a company. Maybe it's a person. I wonder if this is the things they are buying, or is this normal to show these things here? It's kind of crazy that you can, and probably banks have all this information. They definitely have all this information as well. How much you can know about someone without even meeting them, just by analyzing their purchase history. And we can click on view all. And these are probably all the exchanges that this account has other accounts. Very interesting. And it's one of the biggest ones here. Yeah, I guess companies happen much later probably. So I'm probably not gonna find companies here. On this one because this one are the early blocks. But I imagine even if at around 2 million blocks there probably were some companies at least or something like that. No, this is just an exchange. So there's probably a personal address and this is the exchange they use the most recently. It's probably a decentralized exchange. Not sure though. Maybe not. Yeah, so now I'm probably gonna put this. Let me see, I probably can filter based on value. Oh, actually I can do it here already. Yeah, I can create 3 lists outside of here. Up here. And then append this. And the thing is, oh, I guess I can make just one column named address. So 5 is equal to a list, 10, and then 20. Nodes, 5 dot push, no append. I was confused. 5 dot append node. Then dot appends node. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna put it. I'm thinking about the names that I'm gonna give the columns. So, BD. I forgot how to create it, but I think I just put the data first and then the columns. So let me think about what are the names that I'm gonna give. They're just 5 connections. 10 connections. Or maybe just put 5, 10, and 20. So I don't have to type all of this all the time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Maybe. Five, 10, 20. No, I'm not sure if that's probably a list of lists like this. And then data frame to CSV. Data. Then what's gonna be the name? Biggest addresses, maybe. Or just addresses. CSV. Yeah, I'm gonna run this, see if it works. Then I think the next thing that I'm gonna do is see what kind of information I can extract from addresses on the Web3. And then after that, I'm gonna look into how to extract information. I think I already know, but I'm gonna look for, I think Uniswap, how to get data from Uniswap. And then do the same kind of thing, get all the information that I want in one data frame, and then look into the animation stuff. So past data has 76, so it has 56 columns. So obviously I'm not supposed to pass a nested list, I think. But how I'm gonna do that with 3 values? I think the easiest is just to look it up. So I can use zip and then put them all on a list. If like this works. I should comment this out as well, so it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't work, so maybe if I do list like the thing was saying. I don't think it's gonna change anything, but list zip. It's worth trying. Okay, so it worked. Well, I guess it works because this converts into at least the other one. I'm putting the zip object inside of the list, but data frames doesn't work with the zip. Interesting. Yeah, that's the thing. I am passing the objects. That's not what I want. So I have to see which field here is the... So title probably. Yeah. Maybe ID. Actually, I think I'm gonna delete this data frame. So here I pass ID, not node. Yeah, now it should give me what I want. Yeah, but maybe now it's gonna give me... I know, I don't think it's gonna give me a mistake because they're already on lists. I guess I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing for when I extract data from other places as well. Just to filter based on this value here, and then create another data frame with the... But I guess it's easier to just manipulate the data frame directly. Just get the biggest values. You can sort by values and ascending, descending, that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really matter that much. Oh, actually it does, because the data frame is not gonna capture the connection. So first I make the nodes, then get the values to see which ones have more connections, then I put it on another data frame. So actually it does make sense. Okay, so now I have this data frame. I think I'm gonna do it on this one. Yeah, I already put the information on the .env file, the WebSockets. I wonder if I'm gonna be able to connect with the Alchemy provider. Maybe I use Infura, because I'm already using Alchemy for the other stuff that I'm doing. And now I'm also gonna write equals dd read CSV. No, it's on data. Addresses, not CSV. Yeah, so now I'm gonna have to study the thing, because I don't really know what I can do yet. what kind of information I can extract. Yeah, that's the main point of confusion, I think, that I have now is will I be able to create a contract object with an address that is not necessarily it's a personal address, not necessarily. I think probably yes, but I'm not really sure. I think actually I've been here for a long time, so I think I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna continue this another time. And when I continue, I'm gonna study this thing probably on stream. I'm probably gonna do other things off stream. Then, so my plan is study this stuff, then extract more information from the addresses, plot that information on the network X thing, see if I can, see if there is anything interesting based on those connections, and then get data then start building the website, get data from APIs from providers about the reserves, the exchanges, and then get all the data, then try to create a canvas animation from that data. And once I have that, then start playing around with physics and equations in physics to see if I can display the dynamics of markets on as if like a simulation in real time on the canvas of how things are going. And then ideally I can do this with incoming data. That would be, I think, great. Like the visualization of the flow of money. Yeah, that would be interesting. So I might come back today, but probably not. But if not, I'm gonna continue doing this. So see ya.